The DEA agent stares at the television screen in disbelief. On the news, the man they've been hunting for 2 decades, the man with a $2 million bounty on his head, the man responsible for nearly half of America's heroin crisis, is giving a press conference. From a jungle fortress, on live TV, taunting them. "Why not use a bandit to catch a bandit?" he says, smiling directly into the camera. His name is Khun Sa, and he's about to prove that some criminals are too smart to catch. This is the true story of the only drug lord who outsmarted the United States and got away with it. 1950, the Golden Triangle, where the borders of Burma, Thailand, and Laos meet in a mess of jungle-covered mountains. There's no government here, no police, just warlords, opium fields, and people trying to survive. A 16-year-old boy named Zhang Kifu is hiding in the trees, watching soldiers train with American weapons. These aren't American soldiers, though. They're the Kuomintang, Chinese nationalist fighters who fled to Burma after losing to Mao's communists back in China. And the CIA is training them. See, Washington has a plan. Use these soldiers as guerrillas to harass communist China from the south. Give them weapons, give them money, turn them into a thorn in Mao's side. But that teenage boy watching from the shadows, he's learning something else entirely. He's learning how to kill, how to move through jungle without being seen, how to command men, how to build an army. The CIA has no idea they're creating a monster. By his 20s, Zhang Kifu has his own militia, 50 fighters, disciplined, loyal, ruthless. He starts extorting opium farmers in remote Shan villages. These are places the Burmese government forgot about. No roads, no schools, no protection. Just endless poppy fields. But Zhang isn't like the other bandits, scrambling for scraps in these mountains. He has a vision. He doesn't want to just steal opium. He wants to control everything. The farms, the refineries, the smuggling routes, the buyers. He wants to build an empire. And in 1963, he gets his chance. The Burmese military needs help fighting communist rebels near the Chinese border. They need someone who knows these mountains, someone willing to get their hands dirty. Zhang volunteers. And in exchange, the government gives him a gift. Immunity. He can traffic as much opium as he wants, no questions asked, no arrests, complete protection. The Burmese government just gave a future drug lord his license to operate. Within 2 years, his militia is better armed than the Burmese army itself. AK-47s, mortars, machine guns, all bought with drug money. But Zhang isn't satisfied being a regional player. He wants it all. Spring of 1967, he loads up 300 mules with 16 tons of raw opium, worth millions, and he marches them straight into territory controlled by the Kuomintang, the same forces that trained him. He's declaring war on his former masters. It's either genius or suicide. Near the Laotian border, everything goes wrong. The Kuomintang have been waiting, and they're not happy about this betrayal. Gunfire erupts from 3 directions at once. Men scream. Mules collapse in the crossfire, spilling opium across the jungle floor. But it gets worse. Laotian soldiers show up, hopping to steal the shipment for themselves. Now it's a 3-way battle for 16 tons of opium. The smell of gunpowder fills the air. Blood soaks into the dirt. And then the Laotian Air Force arrives. Bombs rain down from the sky. Napalm turns the jungle into an inferno. Trees explode. The ground shakes. When the smoke clears, Zhang has lost everything. His entire shipment, gone, most of his men dead or scattered. He barely escapes with his life. His enemies think they've won. The Burmese government thinks he's finished. October 1969. Zhang steps off a plane at Heho Airport. He thinks it's just another trip. Security forces swarm him. The charge, treason. At 35 years old, Zhang Kifu is thrown into Mandalay prison, shackled, forgotten. Everyone assumes his story is over. They're wrong. If you're enjoying this story so far, hit that like button. And drop a comment telling me which drug lord I should cover next. Your support keeps these videos coming. 5 years. That's how long Zhang spends in that concrete cell. Most men would break. Zhang does something different. He reads philosophy, military history, especially Sun Tzu's Art of War. One passage changes everything for him. In politics, there are no lifelong friends and no lifelong foes. They change according to gains and losses. He writes it down, memorizes it, makes it his entire philosophy. No loyalty, no emotion. Every relationship is a transaction. Every person is a chess piece to be moved or sacrificed. He enters prison as an impulsive warlord. He'll leave as a cold, calculated strategist. But first, he needs to get out. His followers on the outside have been planning something audacious. 1973. They kidnapped 2 Soviet doctors working at a hospital in rural Burma. The ransom, not money. They want Zhang released. The Burmese government is trapped. If they refuse, Soviet citizens die and they face Moscow's fury during the Cold War. If they agree, they look weak. 1974. After 5 years, Zhang walks out of Mandalay prison. The government thinks he's broken, that he'll disappear into the jungle and never be heard from again. They have no idea what's coming. Within 2 years, Zhang rebuilds his entire operation. But this time, he's smarter. He changes his name to Khun Sa, Prince Prosperous in the Shan language. And he rebrands himself completely. He's not a drug lord anymore. He's a freedom fighter, a revolutionary battling for Shan independence from Burmese oppression. The Shan people, ignored and abused by the government in Rangoon, embrace him as their hero. He builds schools in their villages, funds medical clinics, paves roads. They don't see the heroin labs hidden in the jungle. They see a man who cares about them when no one else does. Khun Sa has discovered something powerful. Wrap your crimes in a flag, and people will protect you. By 1976, he commands the Shan United Army. Thousands of soldiers. By 1977, he operates from a fortress with anti-aircraft missiles and artillery. He's not just a drug lord anymore. He's running his own country. And in 1977, he does something insane. He sends a message to the United States Congress. Congressman Lester Wolf receives an offer he can't believe. Khun Sa is proposing a deal. Pay him $100 million. He'll sell them his entire opium stockpile and retire from the drug trade forever. Invest the money in development for the Shan people. It sounds reasonable on the surface. But here's what Khun Sa is really saying. I control the world's largest heroin supply. I can either take it off the market, or I can flood your cities with it. Your choice. It's extortion disguised as negotiation. Washington refuses. They won't negotiate with narco-terrorists. Khun Sa smiles when he hears the news. He was counting on them saying no. Because now, he has permission to do whatever he wants. The 1980s. Khun Sa transforms his operation from a regional network into an industrial machine. He relocates deep into Burma's Shan state, beyond the reach of any government. And there, he builds something unprecedented, a fully functioning narco-state. His Mong Thai army grows to over 20,000 soldiers. That's bigger than some countries' entire militaries. He establishes his own government, tax collectors, courts, schools, hospitals, even a parliament. But the real weapon isn't his soldiers. It's his chemists. Dozens of heroin labs operate 24 hours a day, producing number 4 heroin at 90% purity. Before Khun Sa, street heroin in America was cut down to maybe 5% purity by the time it reached users. His product is 20 times stronger. And he's making it by the ton. The numbers are staggering. In the mid-70s, Southeast Asian heroin was only 5% of America's supply. By 1989, 80% of New York's heroin comes from the Golden Triangle. and Khun Sa controls 45% of it. Let that sink in. 4 out of every 10 heroin overdoses in America trace back to one man's jungle labs. Emergency rooms from New York to Los Angeles overflow with his poison. Families destroyed, lives ruined by the thousands. And Khun Sa, he's getting richer every day. But here's what makes him different from every other drug lord in history. He doesn't hide. 1988. While President Reagan is declaring a war on drugs from the White House, Khun Sa is declaring war right back. He invites international journalists to his headquarters, Western reporters with cameras. And he gives a press conference. On camera, he looks directly into the lens and repeats his $100 million offer. Then he taunts the DEA. Why not use a bandit to catch a bandit? The DEA agent watching this back in Virginia can't believe what he's seeing. The world's most wanted drug lord is on TV, advertising, daring them to stop him. The U.S. government responds with everything they have. A $2 million bounty, federal indictments, Operation Tiger Trap, the largest international drug sting ever attempted. For years, they hunt him, arrest his distributors, shut down his smuggling routes, freeze his bank accounts. But they can't touch him. Because Khun Sa has learned the most important lesson. Everyone has a price, even governments. By 1995, Khun Sa is 61 years old, and for the first time in his life, he's losing. The Wa militia, backed by the Burmese military, is advancing on his territory. These aren't DEA agents who have to go home eventually. These are fighters who want his land permanently. Operation Tiger Trap is working. 11 of his top lieutenants arrested in one sweep. His smuggling networks dismantled piece by piece. His own health is failing. Decades of stress and jungle living have taken their toll. Intelligence analysts in Washington predict an imminent collapse. They prepare for what they call the endgame scenario. A final siege. Khun Sa surrounded, either dead in a shootout or dragged out in chains for extradition to America. Everyone expects a Scarface ending, the old drug lord going down in a blaze of gunfire. But Khun Sa has been reading Sun Tzu for 20 years, and he knows one thing they don't. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. January 5th, 1996. The Burmese military issues a press release that shocks the world. Khun Sa has surrendered. Not to the Americans, not to the Thais, to the Burmese government. The same government that imprisoned him in 1969. The same government he's been fighting for decades. There's no battle, no siege, no shootout. He walks into a Burmese army camp, shakes hands with the generals, and negotiates his own retirement. The terms are never made fully public, but everyone knows what happened. Khun Sa made a deal. He moves to Rangoon, lives openly as a businessman, invests in jade mines and construction companies. No extradition, no trial, no prison cell. The DEA watches in fury and disbelief. 2 decades of work, hundreds of millions of dollars spent, and he walks away. Meanwhile, back in America, the bodies keep piling up. The heroin crisis doesn't stop just because Khun Sa retired. His infrastructure, his supply chains, his labs, they all continue under new management. He created an industry that outlived him. October 26, 2007. Khun Sa dies of natural causes in his villa in Yangon, Burma. He's 73 years old, surrounded by family, his fortune intact. He never spends a single day in an American prison. So how did he do it? How did a jungle warlord beat a superpower? The answer is simpler than you think. Khun Sa understood something the U.S. government refused to accept. Principles are expensive, and everyone eventually has a price. The Burmese government wanted stability more than justice, so they made a deal. The Thai government wanted a buffer against communist insurgents, so they looked the other way. Local officials wanted money, so they took his bribes. And Khun Sa, He just kept playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. Sun Tzu was right. In politics, there are no lifelong friends and no lifelong foes. Khun Sa proved that if you're smart enough, ruthless enough, and patient enough, you can beat anyone. Even America. Before you go, let me know in the comments. Do you think the US should have paid the $100 million? Could they have stopped him earlier? Let's discuss. And if you want more stories like this, hit subscribe. I've got plenty more where this came from.